everybody. It's Heather here with Heather Lane Adventures, and I want to share with you a little bit about a place that I know and love, South Africa. However, most people, when they think of South Africa, think about a safari. Today, I'm going to share with you a number of things to do and see beyond a safari in South Africa. Definitely take the safari, do the safari. And I have plenty of suggestions, and we'll even talk about that in another video of how to do a safari the right way. However, there are so many other things to do and see that it would be remiss if you didn't explore all of the wonderful things to do and see in South Africa. So here's a list of just a few things you can do beyond safari in South Africa. And I'm going to focus on Cape Town in particular, just because of its location and so many things to do and see there. The first of which, my favorite, is shopping. Now, there's plenty of shopping to do in and around Cape Town, but specifically the watershed is the ideal place to interact with and support local designers and local artisans. And then you get some of the most unique take-homes and souvenirs that you wouldn't find anywhere else. So the watershed is in the Victoria and Albert waterfront, very well known for its shopping, but there's a mall, which is just like any other shopping mall. And then there's the watershed, which is like nothing else you've ever seen before. It's very hard to describe why this place is so special. I mean, you really do have to see it to understand. But if you can imagine all of the different cultures that South Africa has, and what you get is a combination of cultural influences in fashion, design, and art that you can't see anywhere else. So many have heard of Table Mountain, I'm sure. When you go to Cape Town, you can't miss it. It's also known as the tablecloth when you have the cloud cover coming over. It's beautiful. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, so it's one of the most beautiful places on the planet. And you can go up there either by cable car, which is the most popular way, or you can even hike up. I've done both. I recommend maybe hiking up and then taking the cable car down, because the benefit of hiking up gives you what I like to call a butterfly's eye view of some of the most endemic plant species on the planet that cannot be found anywhere else. And even people who aren't really bewildered by plants can appreciate that these beautiful wild plants are found nowhere else on the planet. Now, I've got some great photos that I can show of these plants, but I really encourage you to experience it yourself. So another really cool thing to do is to take a road trip. And this is the part of South Africa that I would highly recommend that you do that, as long as you're comfortable driving on the left-hand side of the road. You rent a car from any number of places in Cape Town. You can take a day trip along Cape Point and stop at small towns like Hout Bay, Simonstown, which has the large colony of Cape penguins, and then even go to Cape Point, which is a national park where Vasco da Gama famously had his ship and landed on what is called the Cape of Good Hope. That is a great day trip. You can also go on to towns like Hermanus for whale watching or even great white shark diving, and also get some spectacular views of the coast. Or you can continue on to a town called Port Elizabeth along what's called the Garden Route. And if you do it in the springtime, you will get beautiful views of the wildflower blooms along the way. So foodies and wine lovers alike will appreciate all of the bountiful ways to explore food and wine in South Africa. The Cape Peninsula is known for some of the most fabulous wines on the planet, and some of which are only grown in South Africa. And you have an overabundance of restaurants that are fabulous and could even surpass those that you would find in Europe. So for the wildlife lovers out there, and I am one of you, yes, there is the traditional African safari, but in South Africa, you can also do what's known as a marine safari, where you see some of the most fabulous marine creatures, whales, sharks, sea lions, penguins. You can either take a boat from Hermanus hangs by. You can organize trips from Cape Town. But regardless, even a day trip out at sea in South Africa will open your eyes to a whole different way of seeing and experiencing wildlife. So, of course, because it's me and Heather Lane Adventures, the way that I would recommend doing this is on a sustainable tour. And there are plenty of those to be found. Companies that are local tour operators running out of Cape Town or out of the Cape Peninsula. But I would definitely recommend that if you're going to do this, you make sure that it is a legitimate, sustainable business so that you are not harming the wildlife that you will be interacting with. So I've already talked about and alluded to the abundant culture that exists in South Africa. Because you have your traditional African tribes, you also have these populations of immigrant communities that have brought their culture and history. And then you also have the European, also immigrants, that bring a little bit of their own culture. So combining those together in a place like South Africa gives some of the most unique art, music, I've already touched on fashion, and culture that can be found on the planet. And there are many ways to experience that. Art galleries, theater, musical shows, or just even walking around the streets and enjoying the street art and culture that you'll see on a normal stroll through Cape Town. In my personal experience, there are even opportunities to visit artist studios or fashion designers' studios where you can commission pieces or just explore their great collection to take home with you. But there's really nothing like supporting local artists whenever possible. If you like the content in this video, please let me know by liking the video and subscribing to my YouTube channel. I will have other videos for you, and you can always follow along there if you subscribe. You can also follow my blog and my website, heatherlaneadventures.com, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook.